Hey guys, this is Kevin Potter, and today we're going to make a ring using a die. Or at least it'll be the first part of how to make a ring using a die. So what I'm going to show you here, before the invention of casting, rings were either fabricated by hand or they were made with dies. So what we have here, this is called a hub. This is the master. This hub is used to make a female die. So what I did was I pressed it into the tool steel die. This is actually heat treated tool steel. It's probably 60 Rockwell. It's really hard. This was annealed tool steel. I pressed it in. It took probably 150-200 tons of force to drive it in. I surface ground it off, pressed again to tighten up all my margins, and then I heat treated this. So my next step for us is we're going to make a new one of these. This is the original sample. This ring was made in the 1920s. The way it would work in a factory, there would be I'll show you all the drawers. So these rings would be in a drawer, and then you would go through the drawer and you pick out what you want. It's got a number on it. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make this ring using this die. What it's called is, they call them T-shanks. So it's a half of a ring. So this piece will strike a half, and then it's formed and it's soldered together on both sides. If they were doing this in a factory, the die wouldn't be shaped like this. It would be shaped, it'd be much heavier, much larger. And the first thing they're going to do is strike what's called a blank. All this jewelry was originally made in gold. It would be punched out in a shearing die, and you'd get this shape exactly. And then that would be set into your die and then struck with a drop hammer. And then you go to another die that would form it to make it fit, and then it would go to another die which would round it. But since you don't have any of those tools, you're going to have to do everything by hand, but you do have the die, which is the most important part. It's going to strike all the detail and everything. So today we're going to use a piece of sterling silver, and since a lot of you aren't going to have access to rolling mills and whatnot, we're just going to start with a coin. I'm going to trace this piece of little copper template onto my piece of silver. If you attempt to do that, you will get nothing. No matter how hard you hit this, you are not going to push the silver down into that hole. So it's just sitting there like that. And then you're going to use something sharp. I've got a riffler file here, and you're going to hold it down and trace around it. Make sure you leave a good mark so you can see what you're doing. I'm going to saw for a few seconds on this, and then I'm going to go use a bandsaw. So you don't have to watch me cut for the next 30 minutes. It's going to take you a little bit of time, but it's totally doable. So if you happen to have one of these little bandsaws, it's just a Milwaukee, and we built a stand for it. So I'm going to use this to cut out my parts. So I've roughed out our blank. Now we'll go anneal it, and we'll put it in the hydraulic press. So see what you've got here. You've got your blank and your die. You can kind of see how this is going to, well, it's the old adage, 5 gallons or 10 gallons of stuff in a 5-gallon bucket. You're not going to use any urethane. Okay, now I'm going to go in here with my saw and I'm going to cut all this away. So the tighter you trim it, the better off you are. So the better job you do in the beginning, the less work you're going to have to do on your secondary push. So we're going to anneal it again. We'll probably be annealing it at least 3 times. perhaps more. You're going to want to make sure it registers when you push it in. It's going to lock in place. So you can see we're in deeper. It's definitely gone in further. Use a hammer and it lifts right out. We need to trim a little more and anneal again. So you're going to use the chisel again, but you can see how low it is now. We've probably got all of our detail. There we go. Going to trim it one more time, and then I'm going to strike it a final time. This time I'll probably just use a file. There's not enough flashing to saw away. I'm going to actually attack it with a burr. I like these little barrel burrs. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. We're gonna anneal it. This should be the final strike. We have all of our detail. So now that you've gone through all that effort, your next step is going to be to carefully file and finish this piece. You may actually have to come in with a ball burr and relieve the back side in this area so that there's room for this thing to be bent around. So there actually would have been about 6 die sets that this would have gone through before it was ready to be soldered together. If you're gonna try to make, I'm just gonna be straight with all you guys. If you think you're gonna make money die striking rings and making them one at a time, not gonna happen. You're gonna have a lot of labor in these things. If you're doing it for the pure joy of it and to get a really cool antique ring, then you're watching the right video. I'm gonna just leave this video here, and the next time you watch this video, the follow-up on this, we'll have 2 of these and we will work on the assembly part. So I'll show you how to bend it, form it, and then the final step will be setting a stone in it and getting it all polished up. Thanks for watching. If you've liked what you've seen here today, please like our channel and give us a thumbs up.